Arrest you. Who likes the 10 Commandments, by the way, going up in the schools? They think it's such a bad thing. I said, has anyone read the "Thou shalt not steal"? Thou shalt. I mean, has anybody read this incredible stuff? It's just incredible. They don't want it to go up. It's a crazy world, you know, a crazy world. Things. Who would think that somebody would want open borders where people flood in by the millions from all over the world, from prisons and from mental institutions, and a lot of terrorists in record numbers. Nobody's seen anything like it. Who would think that's good? Who would think that, you know, like a little thing, it's so embarrassing even have to say it, but I say it because it's a big political deal. Who would think that men playing in women's sports is okay? Who would think that? I have to say it. Who would think it? It's all, you know, open borders. Who would think it? Who would think this stuff? But in my first term,
Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry signs a law that requires the 10 Commandments to be displayed in every public classroom. This is governor right here. Let me go ahead and give you guys a little bit of context. So the Louisiana just became the first state that mandates the 10 Commandments to be displayed in every public school classroom. Republican Governor Jeff Landry signed the bill into law on Wednesday, and since then has faced backlash from parents, courts, and lawmakers. According to New York Times, legislation is part of a wider effort by conservative Christian groups to increase public displays of faith. Advocates argue that the 10 Commandments are not only religious, but also historical, asserting that the directives from God to Moses in Exodus significantly shaped the U.S. law. I'm going to go ahead and get a couple of people, then I got a video I'm going to play. What do you guys' thoughts about that? Anybody want to go ahead first on this one? Who's feeling the froggy here? All right,
I
let me
guess
go ahead and call on,
I guess
yeah,
I.
go ahead, Sweeney.
This,
Everybody's shy.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have much to say about it, but I will say this: what kind of sinning are y'all doing down there in Louisiana that made this man put the 10 Commandments in the goddamn classroom? Golly, what's going on down there? That's all I got to say. I don't really have much to say about it. I mean, we could have an argument about separation of church and state and that type of stuff, but I'm not too knowledgeable on that politically. So I just thought I'd throw that in there like, damn, that's wild.
Okay, well, let me get some feelings about that, man. I mean, I know we got a lot of stuff that's been brought into the classrooms. I'm going to go ahead and go with you, Ali. What are your thoughts?
I mean, if I was in Louisiana in grade school in that situation, I would honestly play the Asian card and be like, man, I'm Buddhist. I can't do this, you know, because my mom, you know, I'm from a interfaith, interracial household. It's just wild to me to put, it's going backwards, right? Education has already been whitewashed enough, and now we're doing this. Like, it's, I don't know. I really, really disagree with it because, yeah, it's just, and the fact that he's tying it into the perspective of, well, this has shaped the laws in this country. Yeah, because the laws were written for everyone when they were written. Because last I checked, that wasn't what it was. You know, that's why Juneteenth just became a federal holiday, right? Like, the laws need to be rewritten for everyone, not just for, you know, white people. So I think it's just incredibly underlyingly racist for him to push that agenda.
Okay, I'm going to go to you, Sham, on that.
I mean, I don't care, you know. I mean, there's some things that are, you know, part of the 10 Commandments that I guess are kind of universal. I mean, thou shalt not kill. I mean, thou shalt not bear false witness. I mean, it's not always good to lie. Thou shalt not steal. So, a lot of the commandments, you know, are just like everyday, you know, legal things we obey anyway, right? We know we shouldn't do. I guess the part that will probably be concerning for people who are not Christian, obviously, are some of the other commandments, like putting another God before me and all those kind of things. So I can see how that would be a of concern. Even if you put the commandments in the classroom, them kids ain't gonna read it. They're not gonna. You can listen. I got a lot of stuff in my classroom, and they still ain't, all year long. And they don't read it. They don't care. So you can put it right there. They probably won't even see it. If it has anything to do with reading, they probably like, do.
That says something about your teacher.
No, my teacher, I'm on point. It's just the point in that's just the way it is. They say if you don't want somebody to know something, put it in writing. That's the way it is. I'm afraid to do not do that. You don't want to go there, my brother. Okay? I'm just listening to you. I'm just telling you what we're not going to do. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
I'm just listening to you, sister.
Okay. But I'm just saying, in general, if you put something in the classroom and you put it up and you don't teach them, you allow them just to read it, it's not going to happen.
So basically what you're saying, if you were a teacher in Louisiana and they put them commandments on your wall, you wouldn't feel interested or some energy inside to say, hey, y'all, check out this. They put it in the class. I want you, Michael, in the back to read the first one, and then you, Julie, you wouldn't do that.
So is my subject the Ten Commandments?
I'm just saying, like, I would assume if they make him put it in the, I'm just humor me. Just humor me. I would assume that if somebody said, hey, look, y'all need to put this in every classroom, that you probably got to read it out at one point.
No, you don't have to read it out. We have a lot of things. We have a lot of things that come standard in a classroom that you don't necessarily have to read out, right? But if you're saying that that's my curriculum and that's what I'm supposed to teach my kids, then that's different. If it's a law that says, okay, you have to teach the kids the 10 Commandments, that's totally different. But he's saying it just has to be posted. Like, for example, there was not a law, but there was an incident that happened, I think in Alabama, where the judge put the 10 Commandments in the courtroom. He didn't read them. They were just there. And then they told him he had to take it down. So just because...
You think they're going to go through all that just to put them on the wall and not even read it?
So, I mean, you can read up on it. It really happened. So...
I'm saying you think that these people are going to go through all this heat, put them in the classroom for y'all not to read them to the kids.
So, like, for example, you know how you go into a workplace and it has the labor law on the wall? Nobody reads it to you, but it has to be posted somewhere inside the workroom just for employees. Y'all know that? Have y'all ever seen that? Just to have up. Nobody goes over like, okay, stop what you're doing. Read this. Nobody does it. So I'm assuming that this law is just saying it has to be posted in a classroom. It didn't say anything about having to be taught in a classroom. Am I right, JR? Didn't have to be taught in the classroom. So what I'm responsible for teaching is what's on my curriculum. Now, if I taught a biblical class, theology or something, obviously that would go with my curriculum. But I don't teach that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you have a clue why they're doing that?
I don't live in Louisiana. I have no clue. It's my first time, I don't know why.
Well, I would assume, I don't know either. I may need to research, but I would assume that maybe to keep people from fighting, killing, gun violence in the school and all that, and kids bringing guns in the school, and at least they can say that, hey, we covered our ass. We did literally put "Thou shalt not kill" on the wall. So
you have to
can't sue us for it. No longer.
Oh, like you don't have to. And let me just say this: I don't have a problem with the command because I'm Christian, right? But not killing is the law. So it doesn't have to come in the form of commandment. Commandments. It should just come in the form of this is how you obey the law of the land. Like you don't kill here, you don't steal here. It's not good to do these things. It's just best practices, right? It's like you don't want to do anything criminal. And there's a list of things that I do criminal, some of which are not even a part of the commandments. So if that's the way you want to go, you don't necessarily need the 10 Commandments to do that. You can do it another way. Because we've been doing it another way. I mean, we haven't had the 10 Commandments in the classroom in years, but I will hope that kids know they don't killing people, stealing. Those are just things you learn that hasn't gone away. That's nothing new.
Okay. Shame on they. Do you know the 10 Commandments?
Yes.
Do you know all of them?
I
only heard your name, 2 of you. Do you know all of them?
I know a few. I mean, I know majority of them. Yeah.
How many is it?
10. You said,
You had to think about that. You know what?
No,
Your ass a heathen.
commandments. I know putting the God for the.
No wonder why you ain't teaching them kids that shit. You don't know that shit.
Listen, committing adultery.
Don't do it,
The
teacher.
Lord's name in vain. Kill, steal.
Birth out of wedlock.
That's.
I know, because you did that shit, didn't you? No, I just
That's not a commandment, my dear. I mean, I know a good majority.
Okay, that's I was just
Don't do it,
curious.
James.
I get it. I get it. I'm gonna go to Carmen, and I know Sweeney got a question.
Not like I went to church, like I went to school for church. This is new to me too. If they put it in the class and they're gonna be like, "Oh, here's a commandment," I'm like, "Oh, it's something else I gotta like." What?
We thought you go to church on Sunday. Damn.
I do go to church.
And you do. God, just stop saying. Just stop while you.
I just told you. I just listed majority of them right there. What are you talking about? What does that have to you? Yeah, you like to question people's like what they do. Worry about you and what you do. In your, as for me and the Lord, we got.
All right, go ahead, Carmen.
I hope you like it here.
I kind of agree with Shan. Like, I mean, the ones that are super religious specific, maybe, I can understand more aversion to that part of it. But I personally I have more of an aversion to like the rainbow stuff, the transformer stuff, and all of that being implemented into the schools and for young children than something like the 10 Commandments.
All right, Sweeney, you got a question?
Yeah, I did have a question for the panel. Because I think what's her name, Ali, she did say something along the lines of having a different faith and being an American, how that may be problematic for the 10 Commandments to be posted in the classroom. But I just had a thought, like when you go to another country or you come from a different faith, do you not adopt, if not respect the customs of that land? So, for instance, majority of this country is Christian or Catholic. They come from either in both. You know what I mean? I think over 80-something% of this country is either Christian or Catholic, and they recognize the 10 Commandments. So, when you come, like if you are of a different faith that may not necessarily be something that you have within this country, will you kind of respect the fact that, okay, I understand that I'm in this land and this is what they do. I don't have to, you know what I mean, abide by, for instance, like when they used to do the Pledge of Allegiance. People who didn't have to practice it was able to sit down and say, hey, look, I get that y'all do this y'all thing, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to participate. Rather than saying, hey, look, y'all need to take it out completely.
Well, to expand upon it, I was raised Catholic, but my mom was raised Buddhist. And I would just do that if I was in Louisiana, because I just don't think it's politically right to do that. And as far as exactly your point, and I did go to a parochial school, anyone who wasn't Catholic was allowed to not participate. They didn't have to go to mass. They didn't have to do nothing. They were able to sit down or go to study hall or do whatever they wanted during those times. So that's why it's just incredibly bizarre to me that they would press that. And then the fact that it's, again, why is the majority making the rule? That's the weirdest part when we're a country about diversity, right? That's what makes us strong and that's what makes us great. So it's making us go backwards.
What do you think that, well,
good question. But again, I think we have this. So is it just up in the classroom or is it spoken? Those are two different things. Y'all do know that, right?
Yeah. And I actually had a question to you, Mona, about that, is that would school districts use that as, like, I guess you could say, if something were to happen within a school, as backing to say, well, this is our policy, kind of like you said, it's posted in an office space and no one reads it, but then they'll whip it out when it's relevant to be like, here's your paper, this is posted. So that's the part that becomes like, because the first, commandment is thou shalt worship the Lord. Well, if someone does something like, let's say, wear an upside down cross to that Louisiana school, a parent is going to complain and then go to the school board and, like, worst case scenario, right? Or whatever, just an example. Would the school district be able to be like, actually, we can come down on your child because this is posted in the break room or whatever in the hallway? That's where I'm saying, Like it's just politically, it doesn't sit right with me in that way. I don't know.
Well,
Does
Ali,
that
let me
make
ask
sense?
you
The
this.
question I'm asking.
Given the statement somebody, I think Carmen made about the Transformers and all this other stuff and rainbow flagging, given the fact that they're now able to have something to suppress that or just keep that out of the kids' mind by using the commandments, if they choose to, wouldn't it make sense to be able to thrive off of that? Like, okay, we have this on the wall. Now we can talk about it without being told, oh, you can't talk about religion because well, we have it on the wall, it's in the school, it's been approved. Now we can have something to to embed in these kids' mind when they've been already the curriculum is already schooled to where they got to start accepting all of these nasty things and unnatural things. Or are you just okay, whatever happens in society that's politically correct, I'm down with it.
I just don't think it's a school's responsibility to be the moral compass for the kids. That's the
But
parents.
they can go and tell them that,
Yeah.
hey, look, if you want to go be with a boy or you want to be a boy or a girl, that's cool. And you would
Well,
keep the job and teach it, but then whenever they post something about being righteous, so to speak, it might not be say that in the commandments, but for the most part, trying to be right and do right under God, you would say that, oh no, that I'm just trying to understand. It just don't make no sense to me.
Because I was going to Bruce's point. I was going to address Ali when she said that regarding the majority rule thing. And to Bruce's point, that is actually a loud minority that got those type of things to be brought into the classroom, even though majority of people don't actually rock with them saying that the type of classes that they want to teach as far as LGBT and everything, that's a minority. Most people don't want that in the schools, but they put that in the school. And I think in this kind of weird way, like especially in a southern state like Louisiana, I'm quite sure that majority of the people in that state probably not going to have don't quote me on that. I'm not going to sit here. This is me just guesstimating. I know that it's a southern state. I'm guessing that majority of the people in that state are probably not going to have a problem with the 10 Commandments being posted in the classroom. I do get that is a slippery slope as far as setting policies and things that, you know what I mean, and mandatory things as far as bringing religion into the classroom. But if the majority are completely okay with it, that's how we make most of our laws is supposedly based off of the majority. If the majority rock with it, that's the law that's supposed to get passed.